becoming leader. It's not what I started off intending to do. You don't join the Liberals as a kind of fast-track career move. This is my old house. I grew up here with my mum and my sister and various cats over the year. Rather sad to be able to report that one of them is buried just there. I mean, there's some great family times here. I remember being with the lads, hiding behind the settee, watching the 1990 penalty shootout, just weeping unconsolably, all four of us. And we went upstairs to my tiny room, just enough room to fit the Sabutio table. So we reenacted the semi-final against Germany, and this time we won. There was fields behind there. The first time I ever got paid for anything in my life was hay baling, and we used to play on the farm. Talk about jumpers for goalposts, dried up cowpats for goalposts for us. A little bit smarter, exactly as I remember it otherwise. Obviously, it doesn't smell of fags anymore. This seat here, I was with my friend David in autumn of 1998. I actually began to work up the courage, shall we say, to ask Rosie to marry me while sat here with my mate, asking him whether I should. We met at work. My first proper job after leaving university was at the university in Lancaster. I worked in adult education. I got 4 lovely kids, and I've no more important job than being a dad and a husband. Everything's happened here. I mean, I've revised for an exam here. I've written songs with my mates here. Just round the corner, I've been dumped here. They often say, don't they, that you don't realise that you lived in any kind of poverty until many years later. If your parents were good, and I had great parents, and my parents split up when I was 4 or 5. My dad inspired my love of music in many ways. He worked for a building company during the week, but on a Friday night and Saturday night, he was Chris Farron with his Wheels of Steel. He was a DJ. The band had various names, one of which was Fred the Girl. But the only write-up we ever had in anything was that we were a 4th-rate New Order. Frankly, if you're going to be a 4th-rate anything, New Order's not a bad thing to be a 4th-rate version of. I remember many rows on the jukebox here because I was, without a shadow of a doubt, the only person in the anchor wanted to listen to Prefab Sprout. Paddy McAloon, he is Britain's greatest living poet. I'm an oddity, so I was brought up in Preston and I support Blackburn Rovers and managed not to get my head kicked in. My mum's side of the family from Darwin, and that's why I'm a Blackburn Rovers fan, so I want to apologise to every Prestonian. But if you get the bug when you're 8 or 9, you're saddled with your... I was very moved by what I saw around me, watching the repeat of Cathy Come Home when I was 14, and it made me cry.
You're not having my kids! You're not having them!
That tale of homelessness and desperation, it was deeply, deeply distressing, particularly when I could link it to the lives of people around me.
It sounds a bit corny, I know.
I think what drew me to the Liberals when I was 16 was that we were an outsider party, and I felt like an outsider. You know, half my mates' parents were out of work at any given time, mine were sometimes as well, and you begin to feel that our community was overlooked and taken for granted. A perfect day for me would actually be slightly me and as many of the kids who want to come, and the dog, running up a hill. It's that sense of kind of distance, of space, of remoteness, utterly beautiful. When I go running up a hill, I might not be first. I've never ever failed to get to the top, even if I'm on my hands and knees going through the bracken. I'm the worst person to describe myself, aren't I? Other people can do that for me. But I think I'm not a quitter. Not a quitter.